Hey guys, what are you guys? How are you guys doing today? This is the Fallout Whitaker here, and I'm back. And hopefully, it's permanent. But you guys aren't here for any sob stories or my past. Today we are going to be talking about a what if. Not just any what if. A what if that I thought about for quite a bit. I wasn't thinking about it until I started playing video games again. And it wasn't even Street Fighter. I was literally playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So, without further ado, this is what if Deku was trained by Akuma. Yes, the demon. The original red-haired Black Air Force energy himself. And how does this start? Well, during the time that Akuma was on his tirade, he was cocky enough to fight All For One. Not only that, not in his prime. Not only was it in his prime, but this is when he accumulated quirks and saw that if anybody chose to stand his way, he would be the one that would fight them. Akuma, being the same way, saw this and challenged him. All For One upset about this, saying that you will die, you know that? Akuma said nothing, but said, "You're far too cocky to think that you would win." And after that being said and done, the fight commenced. As the two went on it, hand to hand, All For One using his newly founded quirks, and Akuma using his ki, and being able to maneuver, and also use his unrivaled strength to damage All For One. During this time, All For One was getting ambushed by other people. And these were the people that followed All For One, either using guns, since some of them wanted to be given a quirk, or using their own quirks, showing All For One that they are loyal and they will go to him. A little cult following. And with this, Akuma was sadly overtaken and overpowered, which almost caused the death of Akuma. Now, with all that being said and done, All For One left him there to die, thinking that no one will help him out, being that this man is terrifying in his own right, and he probably would rather be dead than to live with the shame. But one person thought no such thing and decided to take him and also nurture him back to health. Even though Akuma was still passed out for a couple of weeks, this woman kept was at his side whenever he coughed up blood or was in pain. This woman's name is Anko Midoriya, head of the Midoriya Estates. In this universe, Inko's grandmother, Anko, took care of him But after a month or two later, he woken up. Seeing that his body was still not fully healed, he got up to see this woman. She was more smaller than him, maybe 2 heads smaller than him, or 2 feet smaller than him. The man saying, why did she help him? That does she not know who he is? How strong he is? How furious he is with her? And he says that I am Akuma. And before he could take his next step, he fell down as his strength left him. Anko's told him that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether he's stronger, bigger, faster, tougher, deadlier. She saw somebody who's on the verge of dying. And she didn't care whether or not any of those things applied to him. She cared that he needed to be nursed back to health. She saw just somebody and took action. Catching Akuma off guard, he says, listen here, Pipsqueak. Once I'm back in full health, then I will leave this place. I want no part of being, what's called, healed by somebody weaker than me. And she says, keep up that attitude, and I'll make sure you stay here indefinitely. And I will make sure to put a tombstone right there, being known as the dumbest person to say thank you. With this, Akuma laughed, saying that he had to give her credit, even though she was weaker than him. She was more braver than the average person. With her saying that, yeah, when you're a mother, things tend to be not as scary for you as losing a child. And Akuma says, so you're married, I presume. Huh. And what does your husband think about this? And she says, well, seeing that my husband's dead, and has been dead for several years, it's safe to say that he probably would have said no, that I'd be too crazy, and that he would not stand for it. But since I'm the one in charge here, it is my duty to take care of people. And Akuma says, what is your name? She introduces herself, saying, oh, I didn't tell you my name, did I? My name is Anko Midoriya, and I am pleased to meet you, Mr. Akuma. And this is when he says, yes, that is me. For that, I am the strongest fighter in this world, and I will continue to become the strongest fighter in this world. And this is when Anko starts laughing a little bit and says, you being the strongest fighter, and yet you're in this situation. Akuma grunted, saying that, yes, I was the strongest fighter, but I will have my revenge, and I will make sure that he suffers, just as I have suffered, but there will be nobody to save him. And she says, Why is it always the men that are just the idiots around this place? Akuma says, what do you mean? And she says, look, I don't understand any of this, so I can't just say that you're wrong. But right now, you were close to death. Surely you care about your life, don't you? And Akuma says, what is it to you? This is when she tells Akuma, saying, if life is precious, shouldn't we at least take care of ourselves before we charge into another fight? There's no need to be covered in hatred and anger when you were just about to die. And once you do, well, take care of the situation, if you do manage to win at all, what then? What would your life really mean after that? Kuma didn't think about this, but he reassures her, saying, when that day comes, I will be ready for him. And she says, okay, Akuma. Well, if you need something, I'll be out with my daughter. And he recognizes that she does have a daughter after, well, remembering what she said, and says, hey, Midoriya. She says, you can call me Anko, Akuma. And he says, alright, Anko. Lady Anko. And she says, I really don't care about formalities. It is just showing you a bit of respect. Don't think we're friends here. But thank you for helping me. And after that, he just goes to sleep. With Anko being happy about this, she proceeds with her daily tasks. Now, once Akuma was back to full health, several months later, you could see a young Inko Midoriya, child of Anko Midoriya, taking care of the plants, but when she was straying far off, she saw a grizzly bear. And I don't know what kind of bear it is. I'm just saying grizzly bear just because. He's proceeded to just crawl towards her. And once it was close enough, the bear started to jump on her. But it didn't catch anything, which was strange. So looked around. But this is when the bear saw Akuma right there telling Inko not to stray off like that. But with a big cheery smile, she says, okay, Mr. Akuma, sir. I'll just go back to my mom. And please don't be mean to the big bear. He was probably just wanting to play. Akuma telling her that you are far too naive, child. But okay. I'll try not to do it. And she just runs off back to the house. With this, Akuma sees the bear charging up to him. This is when it grabs the bear's face and just slams it to a tree. And before the bear could do anything, Akuma just started punching its torso. And not just one punch, but multiple punches, causing the bear's bones to fracture and to start breaking little by little. And with Akuma's what's called punch to the face, the bear was pretty much unconscious. As Akuma says, because I'm listening to Lady Inko, you yet to live another day. Don't come back here again. Now, you guys may be wondering, why is Akuma still there? Well, this Akuma was kind of more inspired upon the game Tekken 7, which in the game he served the Mishubi or Mitsubi. He served basically the wife of Heihachi, and I legit forgot right now the name, but Akuma took care of the family. I don't know why. I may have forgotten, but in this part of the series, I'm basing it off more on that Akuma, towards the fact that he was not only was he rescued, or not rescued, not only was he nursed back to health, but he saw Anko as somebody worthy to be respected, since she took no crap from Akuma. And Akuma here didn't soften, but he let go of his pride after seeing that Anko was not somebody to just toy around with. Speaking of Anko was dying, and because of this, she wanted to talk to Akuma more. And Akuma respected her and tolerated her crap. Even if it was just to make fun of Akuma and to tease him a bit, Akuma started to enjoy the life that he has. And for that, years had gone by when Akuma seen the stone of, well, Lady Anko, and positioned the flowers that she once loved, which were actually red spider lilies. For some reason, she had a thing for them. And Akuma had known a place where they had red spider lilies. Now, Akuma was taking care of Inko, to which, at the age of 23, she had Izuku Midoriya. And with this, Inko was technically the new head of the Midoriya estate. And with this, once Izuku was born, he was born with the sickness, similar to Inko's, similar to Anko's, and similar. No, wait, yeah, no, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, okay, so that part, never mind, that was my mess up. Izuku was had a sickness as well, but no matter what, Akuma took care of Izuku. He made sure to help him with his day-to-day tasks when he was younger. Inko was still sick, but she did not catch the full force of it. She only caught a minor sickness to it, which Akuma was grateful for. But in turn, Izuku did catch a higher dosage of the sickness, always not being able to walk by himself without having a stick, never being able to shower by himself lest he slip, and not being able to talk after he passes out. He can't even eat certain foods because they're too tough to chew. At the age of 5, Izuku wanted to go to school, but he couldn't. It wasn't until he was 7, until that he was more strong. He was strong enough to handle a bit of his day-to-day chores and his day-to-day life. Inko always pampering Izuku, making sure that he's never hurt, wishes that he could somehow get better. Akuma telling him this, hearing this, my bad. Akuma hearing this, says to Izuku that whenever you need me, just call on to me, and I'll make sure that that you won't have to have any problems. And this is when Izuku just smiles and nods. Talking, more times than not, causes him to cough up blood. But even after all this time, he wasn't born with a quirk, which still made him a prime target for bullying. And the bullier is the bullier. The bully himself is still Bakugo. With Akuma always being wary of him, knowing that he can't do anything to him, because all he's done is talk down to Izuku. And with this, Izuku tells him that it's okay, that he wanted to go to school, so he should handle this by himself. Akuma seeing great dedication and great determination onto Izuku. He accepted the terms. But until one day, Izuku was walking back home. Akuma was late after Inko broke her foot or sprained her foot. Akuma made sure to wrap her leg up with bandages and put medicines and herbs to heal her. Him knowing that around this time is when he had to go, and it was several miles, so he would usually just be able to get there in less than 15 minutes. But those 15 minutes will change the course of Izuku's life for the better. As much as it hurts people to know what's happening next. You see, Izuku, after being bullied, taunted, tells them to just stop it. That they're just bullies, and they need to know that bullying is wrong. And Bakugo saying that what's going to happen if we don't stop. And Izuku says that I'll be very disappointed in you. You say you want to become a hero, but I want to become a hero too. And to see a hero that I will see one day as a hero becoming like a villain, it's terrible. It shouldn't happen. Bakugo getting upset about this, saying, "Why should you become a hero?" And Izuku says, because I'm going to try to become a hero for the better. To help people out. To be like Mr. Akuma. And this is when they say, oh yeah, Akuma's not here right now. That old man. Usually he's a bodyguard for you. But, since he's not here right now, I guess we can show you a thing or two about our quirks. And Izuku worry about this, saying, I know already what your quirks are, and how they operate. You don't need to show me. But this is when Bakugo slaps Izuku, and causing him to fall. Saying, how are you going to be a hero if you can't even handle a tiny slap? And Izuku gets up, even though he has no strength. And this is when Bakugo jumps on his back, causing Izuku just to scream out and to grunt all of this pain. This is when he grabs onto Izuku's shoulder and basically starts letting off little sizzles or pops. Izuku just grunting with his teeth, not being able to handle this pain, just gets up as fast as he could. Actually, basically making Bakugo fall onto his head. Izuku just got up and looked at them and said that this is cowardly, and started to cough up even more blood, saying that you'll never become a good hero. But me, I plan to aim high in this world, to protect the people, and to protect my family from evil people like you. And Bakugo basically grabs Izuku's face and lets off a big explosion, causing Izuku just to black out and to have a scar running across his face with blood and burn marks. This is when Akuma is right there, right behind Bakugo. And all he could see is those red eyes. Red eyes meeting red eyes. And Bakugo fears seeing this hulking man in front of him. Well, in the eyes of a child, Akuma does look like he's like some kind of a demon. Even though I think in the series he is a demon. You know what? Yeah, he sees a demon. And with this, Akuma was about to raise his fist and strike Bakugo right into the head. He wanted to kill him, but Izuku Izuku told him to stop. And this is when he sees Akuma right there, saying that right now I need to go to a hospital. I'm starting to lose blood, Mr. Akuma. And this is when Akuma snapped out of it. And he carries Izuku, but not before him telling Izuku, what's called Bakugo, that you are very lucky today. You should be able to pray to God and say that you blessed me with another day of living. For when you become older, I will come after you myself for what you have done today. This is when Akuma just ran. He basically hauled ass he ran so fast to the hospital. And, well, he basically went to see the nearest doctor, telling him No, not even telling him. He demanded him to check Izuku. With his intimidating aura and the lifeless with the child's body near death, Akuma did get, in fact, the wish of, well, taking care of, not taking care of. The doctor was able to just, not study Izuku. What's that word? He basically started, procedures and checking Izuku's vitals. With this, Akuma stood where Izuku was at, being able to check and see how he was faring. Yeah, so with that being said and done, Akuma, well, Akuma had to tell Inko, and Inko was livid. Though she did not know who the kid was, to see this kind of worksism, to see this kind of hatred for not even an adult. This was a child. To see this much hate on a child because of the fact that he had no quirk, it made Inko livid. But she understood that this is how the world is. But this is when Izuku says that he still wants to go to school. And this is when Akuma says that it's better that you stay here. You are in no position to go to school, nor should you go to a school where they hate you. But Izuku tells him that I'm not going to say it again, Mom. I am going to go to school. There's nothing that you can do to stop me. And Izuku was walking towards his room, breathing heavily. And this was only a couple of days ago, after the incident. So Akuma was by his side, making sure that he was okay. And since Inko couldn't walk because of her broken foot, Akuma said that he will take care of this. And this is when Akuma says, "This is a foolish thing to do, young man. You do understand that your mother and I, we are both worried about you." And this is when Izuku says, "I understand as well. But I must become stronger, Mr. Akuma. I want to become a hero one day. And I can't just give up easily." And Akuma, seeing this, saying, "Why does becoming a hero mean so much to you?" And Izuku says that because evil is around the world, and if I can't stop it, then what's going to happen in the future? If it progresses every single time, then who's going to be there to balance it out if there's nobody that's going to fight for us? I want to fight for those who are powerless. I want to fight for those who can't do anything by themselves. And this is when Izuku says, "This isn't a favor. This is an order. Train me to become the strongest, so that way I can protect the world, if possible." And this is when a flashback happens in Akuma's mind. Akuma sees Anko one day, and while seeing her, he wanted to tell her something, but she was sick, so well, he let her just rest. He went to go pick up a spider lily for Anko, knowing that this was her favorite flower. He heard something which almost seemed to be a cry or a call for help. Recognizing the voice to be Inko, he ran as fast as he could, ran for dear life itself, to see a couple of thugs managing to come and try to rob the place and steal the next head of the Midoriya estate. Akuma, furious about this, ran towards the two and kicked both of them side to side, punching them, flipping them over, breaking one of their bones. He was about to kill one of them when Anko told him stop. Now, Akuma was curious. More than curious, he was bewildered. How could she have the strength to stand up? And how come she told him to stop when these two were obviously going to harm Lady Inko and also rob her for everything she could have had? She told him to call the police, and that they will be no more of a threat to them ever again. With the police being called and statements being made, Akuma walked her into her room and laid her down, sitting next by her, saying, "Why is it that you tell me not to kill them? Why is it that you told me to show them mercy? For they could have hurt you, hurt Inko, and taken everything you had." She told Akuma that he had killed them, he could have gone to jail. And then what would have happened to them? That there's always evil in this world. But because he was strong, he was able to protect them. And that she wanted him. She wanted Akuma to be a good man, so that way he could protect the world, just like they were protected by him so long ago. Akuma seeing this, saying, "So what now?" Anko told him that I order you to try to become a better person in the future, so that way she can see a good man in Akuma. With this, Akuma saw that part of Anko within Izuku. And he knew, my bad. He knew that Izuku was right. And this is when Akuma decided to train him, saying that this kind of training will hurt you. If I teach you what I know, you can heal your body. You can purify your soul. You'll be rid of your sickness. But this same training can kill you. For it is the reason why I never taught you martial arts. And this is when Izuku says, I know. But I don't want to be weak anymore. I want to be strong. And to protect the good in this world. Akuma nodded, saying that his training will start once he gets better. 13 years go by. No, wait, 13. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. He was 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14. 7 years later. And Izuku was back from, well, hunting. And Izuku, in this time, caught a bear, which Akuma looked at and chuckled to himself, saying that, I warned you, didn't I? This is when Izuku tells him, what are you talking about, Mr. Akuma? He says nothing, but I'll get one of the cooks to store this meat. We could probably feast tonight. That is, because it is about to be time for you to go to school. No, wait. Because you are about to enter high school. And Izuku says, oh, yeah. I guess that is true, but right now I gotta call somebody. And this is when he picks up the phone and calls his girlfriend, saying, hey dear, how you doing today? And she says, yeah, what do you want? And he says, gosh, I told you I was sorry. And she says, I know you're sorry, but I'm still supposed to be mad at you. And Izuku says, look, I understand we were supposed to go on a date, but stuff happened, and, well, he says you were training with you were training with Akuma, weren't you? Izuku says, yeah. And his girlfriend just looked at him and says, look, I understand you have to train. And I have to get revenge for my family. But this is still sad that we could have at least just gone on one date this whole week. And Izuku says, I know, it's terrible, but now that I'm in high school, I'm finally ready to just live, well, a normal life, as normal can be. And this is when Izuku says, tell you what, tomorrow I have nothing to do. And I will go on a date with you. Just please understand that I'm sorry. And she says, fine, I'll go. If it wasn't for the fact that I still love you, I would have kicked your ass a long time ago. And he says, alright, well, I'll talk to you later, Jury. And she says, alright, Izuku, I'm gonna go to sleep. And these two say bye. Now, with that being said and done, Izuku's girlfriend is Juri. Izuku's... Well, Izuku's story about that will be talked about later on. And to explain to everybody about this thing, I aged up and aged down certain characters from Street Fighter just to fit some of a narrative. And there were some students, there were some characters that I wanted Izuku to fall in love with, but I decided to go with Juri because I'm not a big Street Fighter, like, history buff, but I do know a little bit about Juri to know that these two can probably go have a nice relationship with each other. So, with that being said and done, I hope you guys liked it today. And if you guys want another video, just like, comment, and do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout Whatever here. I'll talk to you guys later, so bye.